everybody, JT Dangerously here once again. I am here to do my 2017 NBA playoffs first round predictions. Now, of course, the NBA season, the regular season just ended, so we're on to the playoffs. 16 teams are into the playoffs, and they're vying for the NBA championship. Of course, these are going to be, of course, on TNT, ESPN, ABC, NBA TV. So definitely, if you're an NBA fan like myself, I will be watching those kind of games. Now, before I start this video, I want to thank everybody who has watched my Stanley Cup first round predictions. Of course, Stanley Cup is going on right now with a couple first round game 1 games, of course. So again, I want to thank you guys for watching that video. Of course, continue to support on the channel. It's always good. In that video, I forgot to say that the way we're going to do this, like the way we're going to do these playoff predictions, or we're going to do it the same way we did this, the playoffs in the NFL. If you guys have been on my channel long enough, you know how this is going to go. It's going to go like first rounds, conference semis, conference finals, NBA finals. That's how we're going to do it. Same thing with the Stanley Cup finals. So I wanted to let you guys know in this video about that I didn't do in the Stanley Cup video. Now the second thing I wanted to say, April 17th, I'm going to be putting up 2 New Japan Pro Wrestling predictions. Of course, those 2 are 2 out of they are like the 2 pay-per-views before Wrestling Dotaku, which is Road to Wrestling Dotaku and Wrestling to Yukimi 2017. So those are 2 New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-views that will be on April 17th. Now, the Monday after, April 24th, will be, of course, my Payback predictions and the Wrestling Dotaku 2017 show predictions. So 2 videos on April 17th, 2 more videos on April 24th. So I hope you guys can definitely watch all 4 of those videos. And, of course, this one, of course. Of course, I know there's a lot of videos coming out this week, so I thank you guys for the patience and the support on the channel. But definitely check all of these videos out, especially this one and the 2 on Monday, on the 17th and the 24th. Other than now, this is the third thing. Now, if you saw my Stanley Cup predictions, I am a San Jose Sharks fan. I'm loyal to them with no other team other than them. But when it comes to basketball, and I will be honest with you guys, because the viewing audience, I am a bandwagon fan. I, JT Dangerously, am a bandwagon fan when it comes to basketball. Because I've been with so many teams in the I've been with the Bulls in the 90s when they were winning their championships. I was with the Lakers in the 2000s winning their championships. I mean, I was with Golden State a year ago, and now I'm just like I really don't. I love watching basketball. I mean, I've been watching the basketball since they were on the NBA on NBC. If you old school NBA fans remember that show, which was maybe the best basketball, like best theme song, the best players in that era, the 90s era. But but again, that's just me. I don't really have a one team. I mean, I've loved a lot of teams, like I said. But again, do not hate me for being a bandwagon fan when it comes to basketball, because it makes it easier for me to pick, so I don't have one favor or another, because they're my team. I don't have any team. So again, once again, letting you guys know I am a bandwagon fan in basketball. But tell me what you guys think. Who do you represent? Who do you hang your hat on in basketball? I always want to see that, so definitely do that in the comments below. But other than that, let me stop rambling and let's get right into these damn picks. I'm going to start off in the Eastern Conference. Of course, the number 1 seed as of tonight is as of the win tonight over Milwaukee, the Boston Celtics playing the number 8 seed Chicago Bulls. Now, of course, Boston overtook Cleveland to be the number 1 seed. I mean, again, 3 teams, I'm going to at least say 3 teams from each conference could get to the NBA Finals. And I think Boston can get to the NBA Finals. I really think they can. They have a great team. I mean, when you have the ace of Boston, the Celtics, Isaiah Thomas, I mean, you can go far. You got a great team. Brad Stevens, I watched him at Butler, what he did at Butler in the college basketball years. He's already done what he did in Butler, even topping it in Boston, and he's making the Celtics a winner for the first time in a long time since the Doc River era. And then you have the Chicago Bulls, of course. There's a Dwayne Wade hurt, but so it's been the Jimmy Butler show. in Chicago. I mean, they have other talents, but it seems like it was Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade, but Dwayne Wade is shut down for the season, so it's been Jimmy Butler getting them there, and of course getting the win tonight and becoming the 8th seed. So coming from me in this matchup, I am going to take the Boston Celtics to beat the Chicago Bulls to move on to the conference semis. Now the next matchup, the 4-5 matchup. Because the 4 seed, the Washington Wizards against the 5 seed, the Atlanta Hawks. Now, of course, it's been a while since I've seen the Wizards in the playoffs. I mean, since I just remember players like Gilbert Arenas, and of course John Wall's still there. Maybe in his words, the best point guard in the NBA. That's up to debate. I mean, very good team. John Wall's a very good player, no doubt about it. And then you have the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, it's been a while since the Hawks been in the playoffs, but I think they were in last year. But Atlanta's a pretty good team. Paul Millsap's a great power forward, no doubt. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to go with... This one's a tough one because 4-5 matches are always tough, just like in the NCAA with 8-9s. I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards in this one. I think the Wizards are a pretty good team. They're not one of the teams that I think can get to the NBA Finals, but I think they can just advance. So I'm taking the Wizards to beat the Hawks. Now the next matchup, the 3-6 matchup. Of course, on the 3 seed, the Toronto Raptors versus the Milwaukee Bucks, the 6 seed. Now, Toronto is the second team I think can get to the NBA Finals. I mean, when you have Kyrie Lowry, you got a very good team. Fan base in Toronto's hot. Even they got Drake when you got to do that hotline bling and all that stuff. But Toronto's a very tough team, and definitely the second team I think can get to the NBA Finals. Then you have the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the Bucks in the playoffs. I mean, it's been a long time. With players like Giannis Antetokounmpo, I mean, Jabari Parker, Jason Kidd coaching the team. I mean, this team is on the rise, definitely on the rise. Even if they don't get far in the playoffs, that team is on the rise with Antetokounmpo. I mean, fantastic player. And maybe the funnest name to announce, funnest name to say, Antetokounmpo. It's the hardest name to pronounce, but it's fun to say. In this matchup, it's really tough, but I'm going to stick with the Toronto Raptors to win because I think they're the second best team to get to the NBA Finals. And Milwaukee's young; they're going to get even better next season for sure. But I think it won't be a sweep, but I think they'll give Toronto a fight. But I think Toronto will win. So I'm taking Toronto to beat Milwaukee. And now the last matchup in the Eastern Conference first round. The 2 seed, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the reigning, defending NBA champions against the number 7 seed, the Indiana Pacers. Now, of course, Cleveland has been struggling. Cleveland, of course, winning the NBA championship last year against Golden State, of course, in that great Game 7 after Golden State blew a 3-1 lead. It was amazing. Definitely deserving for Cleveland, for the Cavaliers, been there for years, finally winning a championship. And of course, they're adding new weapons. I mean, they added Kyle Korver from Atlanta. They had Andrew Bogut, but of course he broke his leg 59 seconds into the game. But they still had players like Kevin Love, Kyrie, J.R. Smith, LeBron James. I mean, you have talent around there. But lately they have just been struggling. I mean, they're losing games they should be winning. And they were the number 1 seed for the most time, and then they just let Boston leapfrog over them. So Cleveland is really and I will say Cleveland is the third team I think can get back to the NBA Finals and definitely win another championship. But they cannot be doing what they were doing in the last week of the last month of the season, like in the playoffs. They can't be losing games they should be winning or trade. They lead a game and then they let the team come all the way back and beat them. You cannot have that happen in the playoffs. That will screw you over multiple times. And then you have the Indiana Pacers. I mean, Indiana Pacers did get in. The last team to get in, of course, the Miami Heat did not get in, even though they got a win. But the Pacers did get a win. I mean, when you have PG-13 Paul George, who did play at Fresno State. Yes, he did play at Fresno State, so he's got some hometown love here. Not mostly people here in California are Warriors fans, I would think. It's mostly Warriors or Lakers. But PG-13 is there still. He's doing work. Lance Stevenson, they re-signed Lance Stevenson, and I know LeBron James, Lance Stephenson, the whole him blowing in LeBron's ear, that whole incident, if you remember that. So he's back with it's a great match. It's a pretty solid matchup. But coming for me with all the talent Cleveland has, I'm going to take the Cleveland Cavaliers to move on and get to the conference semis. And now the Western Conference side of the playoffs. Of course, I'm going to start off with the number 1 seed, the Golden State Warriors, the team that public enemy number 1 when it comes to fans, the most hated team. I would say the most hated team around the world because of what they have. I mean, of course, I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors against the Portland Trail Blazers. Of course, this is the Golden State does have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Of course, having the best record. Golden State did sweep Portland in the regular season, and they are 1-0 in the playoffs against them last year. Second meeting between these two in the playoffs. Golden State's a very good team. I mean, you don't other than that collapse they had last year, they're still a good team. I mean, when they added Kevin Durant, it made them a lot better. I know a lot of people hated that in Oklahoma City, that he just leaves to go to Golden State, and what Golden State's doing right now. I mean, it's amazing when you have Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. I mean, it's the Splash Brothers. Then you have the Portland Trail Blazers. I mean, they did get in as the 8th seed. I mean, they still have Damian Lillard. They have a lot of good players, but that's the only player I know other than that's the only player I know out of Portland is Damian Lillard. That's all I can say about him because I don't know a lot about him. But again, when it comes to the playoffs, anything can happen. An 8 seed has beaten a 1 seed in the NBA playoffs before. We've seen it. But I don't think it's going to happen here. So I'm going to take the Golden State Warriors to move on to the conference semis. Now the next matchup, the 4-5 matchup. Of course, it's the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Utah Jazz. Now, of course, the Utah Jazz... the Utah Jazz are back in the playoffs since I haven't seen the Jazz in the playoffs in years. I mean, the last time I remember the Jazz in the playoffs was when they had the mailman Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek, being there in the 97 and 98 NBA Finals with the Bulls. It's been a long time seeing the Jazz back, and I'm so surprised they're this good. I mean, they're a very good team this year. I mean, when you have Gordon Hayward, I call him the Great White Hope because they got great team. I mean, Derek Favors. They got a lot of great players on the team, and it's so surprising to see the Jazz finally good this ever. It's been a while since then. They have the Los Angeles Clippers, of course. Doc Rivers' Clippers, Steve Ballmer's owner Clippers. I mean, again, they are of course in LA it's all about the Lakers, but lately the Lakers have been kind of the pushed to the side, and it's the Clippers being the team in LA in basketball. Because when you have Chris Paul, you have Blake Griffin, you have DeAndre Jordan, Lob City, you have Austin Rivers, Rivers' son. I mean, J.J. Redick out of Duke, which I watched him at Duke in college. He was a great three-point shooter. You got a very solid team, in Los Angeles for the Clippers. But coming from me, and this is maybe just me being a different type of fan, I love to see the Utah Jazz move on because it's been a while since 97. It's 97-98 year when they were actually good. So coming from me in this matchup, I am going to take the Utah Jazz to upset the Los Angeles Clippers to make it to the conference semis. Now the next matchup, the 3-6 matchup, and it's the battle of two MVP contenders for sure. Of course, I'm talking about the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, of course, this is James Harden versus the triple-doubles master himself, Russell Westbrook. Of course, this is Houston did win the regular series 3-1, and of course, Oklahoma has the lead in this playoff series when they were the Seattle Supersonics, when they were actually the series 6-1. And Houston's last win against, of course, the Seattle Supersonics / Oklahoma City Thunders was 1997. So it's been a long time for Houston to maybe get some payback against Oklahoma City. Now, with Houston, when you have James Harden, Beard himself, Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, you got Mark D'Antoni, definitely is going to be up there for Coach of the Year because I don't think anybody expected Houston to be good this season. And they actually did it all. I mean, what do you call it? Harden put the Rockets on his back all the way up here. Same thing with the Thunder. Then when you talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, losing Durant to the Warriors, of course, that hurt. But when you have the man who had the most triple doubles of the season, the triple doubles king is Russell Westbrook, and they're both in the MVP candidate race. And again, it could be both of them or one of them. And this one's a great first round matchup for me because Oklahoma City is a great team, but it's like a one-man team. No, again, I don't know a lot about Oklahoma City other than they have Ernest Cantor and I think they still didn't they have Victor Oladipo? But Russell Westbrook is doing most of the work. Like, he put the whole Oklahoma City Thunder's team on his back for multiple triple-doubles. That is amazing. And even passing Oscar Robinson in the triple-doubles list is amazing. So I got to give him some damn respect for that, for doing it by himself without, because he was always with Durant. It's just him now. He's making his own stride in Oklahoma City. But coming from me, I just think Houston is a better team because they have a lot more weapons other than Oklahoma City. Again, no offense to Oklahoma City, but coming from me, I'm going to take the Houston Rockets to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder and get to the conference semis. Now the final matchup of the Western Conference side of the playoffs. Of course, the number 2 seed, the San Antonio Spurs, and the 7th seed, Memphis Grizzlies. I forgot to say Houston is one of my other. The second team I think can get to the NBA Finals is Houston. Golden State and Houston. And now here's the third team I think can get back to the NBA Finals, and that's the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, Greg Popovich, you already know. If you're a Spurs fan, Papa knows what he's doing. Got just great talent. Kawhi Leonard, LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, after Duncan retired, LaMarcus Aldridge definitely got it done. I mean, Danny Green, just talent. I mean, they're always there. They're always there in the playoffs. San Antonio is always good. And I do believe San Antonio is a legit threat to Golden State. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. San Antonio is a legit threat to dethrone Golden State. They have the Memphis, and of course, San Antonio does lead the series. The 5th time they played in the playoffs against each other. And of course, they're 3-1 over the Grizz. And Memphis, last time they beat San Antonio was 2011. So it's been a while since Memphis has beaten San Antonio Spurs. Now with Memphis, you have Zach Randolph. You got Mike Conley. Well, they had Mike Conley, but he was hurt. But 7th seed Memphis is always a dangerous team. I remember them a few years ago. They got as far as they can get in the playoffs. So do not sleep on Memphis for sure. But coming from me, third team that has the biggest threat against the Warriors to getting back to the NBA Finals, I'm going to take the San Antonio Spurs to beat the Memphis Grizzlies to move on to the conference semis. And those are my NBA playoff first round predictions. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Comment below, who do you have winning all of these first round matchups? And of course, represent your teams in the comments. I'm always on to see your comments. The thumbs up your comment, and of course, reply right back to you. The comments are always welcome, and you guys represent your team, and your comments are always welcome. Just like you guys did for the NFL, and of course, what you did in the NHL ones. Represent your teams. That's always fun to see. Now, of course, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys can never forget to that like button, comment, share it with your friends. What do you call it? It's always fun to do that. I mean, no offense to but again, hit that like, super kick that like button, comment, and share it with your friends. Of course, you can never forget to that subscribe button, become part of this bigger and funner dangerous alliance. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.